Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build and welcome to the next video in my Zodiac series. I am building Zodiac inspired tiny homes for every single Zodiac sign and I am doing them in order on when they happen. So we are currently in Capricorn season, which is between December 22nd and January 19th, and thus we are creating a Capricorn tiny home. Before we get into this, I just want to put out the disclaimer and the reminder that these are just loosely based on the Zodiac signs, and by no means does this encapsulate every single person that would be born in this time. I just am using this as a way to get some concepts to build some different homes. So I am using all of the information I found on the stereotypical Capricorn person or sim and creating them a home in The Sims 4. So hopefully you will enjoy this. I also did take some notes on Capricorns as I was doing my research and tried to incorporate as much of that as possible into this build. And additionally, for this one, I was building this with my best friend Katie, who is a Capricorn, so she gave me a little bit of input as well on things she thought should be included. So one thing that we knew from the beginning is we wanted this to be a little bit more of a traditional looking home. We were thinking this would be for a sim who is very hardworking. They don't want to slow down for anything and want to accomplish and achieve a lot. They are definitely very stubborn, bit of a rule follower, perfectionist, but they are very loyal to their friends. I also wrote down that though this earth sign may seem a bit conservative and restrained at first, their closest friends and lovers know that these sea goats love to party. And I said sea goats because that is the sign associated with this Zodiac sign, or that is the animal, I guess. It's a sea goat, which is really cool. I also had written down that some common careers or careers that a Capricorn might excel at include things in like the business side of jobs, like accountant or lawyer. And so I was thinking they were in the business career for this particular sim. And I definitely wanted more of a neutral, eclectic interior, sort of. Basically think dark academia, but neutral. And then the outside is very more traditional in style. And so I am building this in the older style part of Windenburg, as you can see. And there's a couple of shell buildings I put on this lot as well because it seemed way too small for this space. So I thought it'd be cute if we created this in its own little neighborhood, but you don't have to worry about other sims being in the other houses because they're not real houses. I just grabbed them out of Show Live Edit objects. And I think they worked so nicely. I did add a couple of windows to them and tried to make them look a little bit more realistic to fit into this neighborhood. But I think in the end, it came out so cute. I really like how this house came out. Definitely let me know what you think of it. And if you do like this build and you would like to download it, make sure you go ahead and go on the gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Miss Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below. Definitely let me know how you think I did on this build throughout the process of it, based on the information I provided, but also which things you relate to or don't relate to if you are a Capricorn. And if you have any suggestions for our next build, which will be either, sometime next month, we will be doing the sign of Aquarius, which starts on, I believe, January 20th. So later in January, we'll be tackling that. So if you have any suggestions, things you would like to see in the Aquarius tiny house, please leave those in the comments as well. I just wanted to make sure there was some decent lighting out here. So I did line the pathway with these small lights, and then we are getting some mailboxes for all three of the houses. I assume only one of these will actually be functional and active since there is only one house technically on this lot. So keep that in mind. And then right here, I'm trying to figure out the floor plan. This one took so incredibly long to figure out. And it was because I was determined to have a fireplace where the chimney is on the outside of the build. It just took a really long time. And you're going to get to see some of that because I really couldn't cut it all out because I started furnishing things and then I completely would change where certain rooms would be. So it took a long time. So at first we do have the kitchen over here, and that is not where it stays. I think it looks cute over there, but the layout just really wasn't working for me. For some reason, the shape of this house I just thought was so awkward, and I didn't know how to make it work. I also wanted to make sure we had a door to the backyard, and I can't tell you for sure if we kept that or not because I changed the inside of this build so many times that I don't know if there's a back door. I have no idea. So right now I'm trying to do the kitchen in the front still right next to the fireplace. Spoiler alert, the fireplace ends up being in the bedroom and the kitchen is nowhere near where it is now, but we'll get there. I was trying to use these base game countertops and cabinets because they're a little bit more traditional in style, and that was definitely the look I was going for. I wanted these like warm tones, and I think they're quite pretty. They're just a base game counter, but for some reason I've always really liked them. I don't know why. But here I am starting to play around with things and moving things around. I put the kitchen back here. That's not where it ends up going either. I had no idea what I was doing with this space. Like, I had a general idea of the style, but I had no clue how to lay it out. The kitchen definitely works way better over here though, because I was able to just put it on a flat wall, 4 tiles. It's got its own little bump out, and I was much happier with that. And then I'm trying to figure out where the bedroom should be to go with that, because we have this fireplace that I don't know what to do with, and that was the biggest headache is trying to figure out what to do with the fireplace, because it's in the worst possible spot, but I liked where the chimney was on the outside and there wasn't really a better place to put it. So I played around with it and tried to fix it. So I moved the fireplace to the middle of the house, and I'm like, we can ignore it. It's not there. We can pretend it's fine. But then it ended up on a different wall in the bedroom, and I'm trying to figure out a layout in here, and none of it was working. Ultimately, what I do is I rotate the fireplace so it is against the wall directly next to the bed, and it's not centered with the chimney, but it is in front of the chimney, and then I have the door to the bathroom in the bedroom so that we have more wall space out here to work with. So I'm getting there. I will get there in the end. It works out so much better, but it took so much fiddling. So hopefully that's kind of relatable. And it's nice to see how much it took, like how much time and how much struggle it took to get this to work, because sometimes that's just how it goes. I often have builds that come together pretty quickly, but this was not one of them. I was getting so frustrated with it. Let me know if you have that experience as well. But anyway, we're back in the kitchen now, and I'm starting to get some decorations. And this home should start coming together a little bit now that we finally figured out the floor plan. So I mentioned kind of going for dark academia, but I guess lighter and more neutral. And I immediately thought of this couch. I was looking at a lot of reference pictures as well that were like, this is how a Capricorn would decorate their space. Because my best friend was like, I don't know what to do, even though she's a Capricorn. And she kept looking at those and being like, this is really pretty. And this kind of coincides with this concept and this idea of this sim. And so we did that. I love this couch. It is from Cottage Living, and I think it is such a pretty piece. I also got a clock in here. It said that Capricorns were very like in tune with time, if that makes sense. I would say like very into time management and being aware of how much time they have to do things as far as like their calendars go, but also in like a life is short, I need to get as much done as possible type of way. So since it kept being mentioned in everything I was seeing, I wanted to include a clock in here, and I thought the grandfather clock looked really nice and fit the style of this home. For the kitchen space, I decided to have a little bit of tile right under the actual appliances. I also wanted to add a bookcase in here, but I had a lot of trouble figuring out which one would fit. I ended up scaling one down at some point and putting it in the corner. I think it's the one we just grabbed a moment ago as well, which I believe is from Cats and Dogs. And it just worked nicely over here. And I later on do end up putting a barrel of juice or liquor up there. I was thinking that would be some drinks they have to party with their friends, since there was that whole like they love to party aspect. And while I was building this, every single time I placed down an item, my best friend sitting next to me, she's like, okay, but where are you putting the alcohol? We love to party. Don't forget that. And it was just really funny. So towards the end, I do remember to put that, but I am putting some books and stuff around for a love to read and being studious and being productive. So I wanted to include that. Also, as a little bit of a nod to my best friend, she is so into reading. She's like all over book talk. I am pretty sure, like, or maybe not on TikTok, whatever the equivalent is on Instagram. And she's got so many books and constantly is like, I've read this many 100 books this year, and these are my to be read books. And I wish I had that sort of time. But I thought it was kind of cool to incorporate some books in that space as a nod to her. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to fit a dining table. So we end up squeezing one in over here by the front door. it just barely fits. But I think it worked out well. We have some more like neutrals and browns and like earthy tones in here, as this is a earth sign. And I also got some like keys and stuff by the door. And I just wanted to put some stuff on the table as like simple decorations. And I can't remember exactly why, but we end up putting a really pretty tea set over here. I also get some achievements up on the wall, like maybe their first dollar, something they got in school. They're very proud of their achievements and really strive to be super accomplished. But we end up putting this really pretty tea set on here, which I think is from Courtyard Oasis, which I should be grabbing shortly, but also this pottery piece as well. And I don't exactly remember why, like I said, but it had something to do with like liking those types of metals. And that is how we incorporated it into the space. I also just think it was really pretty and fit the style. And I really like the vase I put up there as well. I just think it's cute. And like I said, these builds are totally to get inspired by a new concept. So if I read that they like metal glassware, that doesn't make sense because glass. But like if I read something like that, I'm going to try and incorporate it into the space because it's really fun to take this concept of a sim based on a zodiac sign and turn it into a home. So I was really happy with that. I also wanted to include some like crystals and candles. That was something I had read about. And my best friend also really likes that stuff. So good to include that in here and get some artwork as well. It's very squished in here. I think this is the only tiny house I've done for this series so far where it's only a single bed. But I couldn't fit a bigger one in here because the door and the fireplace, it wasn't going to work. I had such a difficult time with this floor plan, and that is what I ended up having to sacrifice is a double bed. But hopefully that's not too much of a problem for you. I don't know how many people are playing with these homes versus just watching the videos. I know whenever I've watched videos in the past, like speed builds, it was always just because I enjoyed watching them and I found them inspirational and it was fun entertainment. I almost never downloaded the builds. But I also felt like I always preferred to make my own stuff anyway, so I'm probably not the target audience for downloading builds. So I'm not sure how many of you watch for just entertainment versus actually downloading. You could let me know. I'd be very interested. But then I also added some paintings up here on the mantle of the fireplace to get some more decoration. And once again, as a nod to my best friend, who is an artist. So I wanted to include that here. And then I got a candle. I just was trying to get whatever I could into this space. It's such an awkward bedroom, so I just wanted it to feel fully decorated, and so I'm just trying to nudge some stuff around, get one of my favorite plants in here from the Blooming Rooms kit. It's so tiny and it fits in every spot. And then we're heading on into the bathroom. It's really simple. I feel like a lot of my bathrooms are nothing to write home about. They're just really simple and, you've got the necessities. When you're working with a 3x2 room, there's not a whole lot you can do with the space. And also, I don't like a lot of the tile options in the game. I really want more tiles. These Parenthood ones are definitely one of the best, these wall tiles. But I feel like there aren't that many others that I like this much. So it's really hard to do different bathrooms when we are limited in tiles. Maybe that'll be something we get in a future pack. I know at the Sim Summit, they had announced that we're going to get 2 expansion packs next year. And maybe if one of them is family themed, like we're all suspecting, it could have more kitchen stuff, kind of like how Parenthood did, because it'd be like a family home expansion pack in a new world and focuses on family gameplay. And like there's a lot that goes on in the kitchen. I don't know. That's an idea. That's just me rambling at this point, though. This is just a boring bathroom, and I didn't have a whole lot to say about it. But anyway, we're heading on into the backyard now, and I wanted this to be simple, but have something out here for your sim to do. But we were really trying to focus on them wanting to be very hardworking and achieving a lot. So I wanted to incorporate that into the backyard as well somehow. So what we ended up doing is there ends up being a yoga mat back here, because that could be a way for them to unwind and relax, but it's also being like productive and working on themselves. And I also added a telescope because I thought that would be fun for them to go ahead and, look up at the stars or spy on their neighbors or whatever you'd like. I just thought it was a fun item to add back here. I'm still so glad that we have the smaller telescopes in the game for the longest time, we just had that giant observatory, and like, where do you place that? So that was a fun thing to add back here. And I ended up getting some flooring as well, so it doesn't look like we're just on the grass, as well as a barbecue, and I believe a place for you to sit and dine if you decide to cook out in the backyard. But that's pretty much it for this build. Just getting this dining table and some flooring. I had a lot of trouble with this one, but I still think it came out cute and fits the description of the research that I conducted. So like I said, let me know if this fits you, if you've heard these things about Capricorn, Zodiac people. That was a really weird way to phrase that. Have you heard the same information about Capricorns, and do you relate to any of it? And leave any feedback you have down below for Aquarius, which we will be tackling in the new year. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the screenshots. There is the alcohol. I made sure to add it towards the end. I was being pestered about it the entire time, and I thought it was really funny, but I thought that was a cute place to put it. But yeah, if you liked this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. That really does help me out. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.